It's v.h.s.x. What do you mean?
All right, I wanted to go ahead and talk about an update that we've gotten, which shout out to Unworldly Line 47 for throwing this into the suggestions. And then there's going to be another one that I want to talk about after this one, but we'll worry about that when the time comes. However, this one in particular is from Behavior themselves, a dev, it says, and it says an update on the Judgment's visual indicator, and it says last Friday during the Chorus of Sin Discord stage, a spur of the moment joke was made about streamers looking at their chat. We understand that this caused frustration, and while we never intended for this joke to be the focal point of the Divine Light change, we love to give a little bit more context behind our thought process and ultimately share an update on the visual indicator we had mentioned. So before I continue, because I need to give people a bit of a warning and a little bit of a preface, I'm gonna say, because a lot of people are going to take what Behavior says at face value, and that is the biggest mistake you can make when we're dealing with something like Behavior. Behavior is the king of false promises and twisting words around to try to make it seem as if they care. They're the kings of doing that. I've said this so many times. We've seen it in the past. If you actually pay attention to what happens in this game, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. This is no exception, okay? This is no exception. This is something they do all the time. They love trying to play things off as if, oh no, you guys don't understand. You just misunderstood us. I'm like, no. A lot of us are, at least thankfully a small amount of us, I should say, are intelligent enough to know when there's something fishy going on. And we understand that, and we try to pass that on to others so that they can be informed. And then there's gonna be the dumbasses who still think that this is just all of them. Behavior, just, oh my god, they're trying to help us. Clearly, like they don't want to make us upset. They just want to make us happy, and so we can keep paying for their slop. And it's like, no, that's not how that works. Okay? Behavior has constantly been habitually, I'm gonna keep saying, pretending to care, offering like false information, offering things that have nothing to do with anything, mind you. And all their changes are always boiling down to the same exact point that we've been bringing up in every single update that we talked about. They are only focused on a very specific kind of audience. They're not interested in the entirety of the player base. They only care about a particular player. And you're probably asking what that is if you're not aware. And all I would have to say in response is anybody who is a hyper casual, and not like, even if you play Survivor consistently, you're probably way less important to them than the Timmy that rolls up for 2v8, than the person that's installing the game only when there's an event, or only playing the game when there's an event. Because if you're a veteran Survivor player who actually enjoys chase and challenge and actually being able to counter things in the actual gameplay loop, then that's one thing, but that's not something that they care about. Okay? So let's go ahead and continue to read, because we already know that the bullshit is coming. They preface it with some nonsense by trying to say, oh, we were joking. No, you weren't. Like, no, you clearly were not, because no one was laughing. Okay? When people make jokes and they know that it's ridiculous to say that, they would start freaking laughing. They go, haha, that's great. Haha, for sure. You know what I mean? But no, it wasn't a joke. But they want to claim that it is when we clearly know it isn't. Because that's their design philosophy. The irony of it is their design philosophy is focusing on Survivor players. It's focusing on Survivor streamers in particular when it comes down to content creators. They are not interested in people who play killer consistently. That's not a thing. That's not a thing. So they say what we should have and failed to mention clearly is that the changes were there to assist with accessibility, giving a short visual warning to survivors that they are being sniped. So notice how they're trying to lean back on their, oh, we're worried about accessibility. No, you aren't. Like, clearly not. If they were truly worried about accessibility, if they were genuinely worried about that, okay, they would have made sure to have things for more things for the visual, like with people with visual impairments. They would have something for Lightborn, because there are people that genuinely have like pain in their eyes when they have to look at a blind effect. There would be more things for that, but they don't do that. There are a lot of accessibility features that are not in the game, and the fact of the matter is that if they really were worried about accessibility, then that should have been at the forefront of the character. That should have been something that you already initially thought about, but that's not what you said. That's not what was fucking stated. And that's the thing I'm trying to get at. It's like, stop believing these people without the face value. They are scrambling to come up with an excuse. Like, oh, just bring up accessibility, that'll work. It's like, no, it clearly wasn't about accessibility, because you would have said it was. If it truly was about, we just want to make sure that people with either hearing impairment, visual impairment, whatever the case may be, can still also enjoy the game, so we decided to add this part, which we will toggle in the settings, blah blah blah. Like, you'll add that in there and make it about that thing. You don't just throw out some kind of change like that and then make it, oh, we're just kidding. Open your eyes, DVD community. Pay attention. But I understand that reading comprehension is not something that the DVD community is used to. So I get it. You know, the ignorance and idiotic statements are their lifeblood. That's what they care about the most. But unfortunately, some people actually have intelligence, and they want to point out, like, this is stupid. Due to the speed of divine light and its ability to travel through walls. And here's the part that people are pulling out all their knee pads for. Oh yes, this is amazing. This is not something that will be happening at release, however. We'll be monitoring the need for it closely before proceeding. In the event that the increased aura reveal change in the divine light is not enough. So keep in mind, this is already them saying, hey, we're gonna keep adding. They're not saying, hey, we're not going to remove this entirely from the table. They said we will be monitoring the need for it closely before proceeding. Basically meaning, no, we're still adding it, but we're just gonna hold on to it for now until all of you stop bitching about it. Then we'll add it in, and then fuck you. Basically, this is what they do. It's what they do. And then the people that will somehow find a way to weasel them out of this, you're not gonna be heard, buddy. We all know the truth. We all see it for what it is. I don't know why they're so obsessed with trying to defend behavior, but they are. Mind you, they said in the event that the increased aura revealed range on the divine light is not enough. Mind you, they already are saying that they want to make it even easier to counter the character that already is difficult to use. Mind you, they are already stating from the rip, from the get-go, they already are stating, yo, we are going to make sure that it's even harder to play the character. We are going to make sure that it's even harder to enjoy the character. We're going to make sure that every killer that comes out can be easily countered by just blinking your eyes automatically and pressing spacebar occasionally. They are making sure of it. That is how it goes. So let's look at some responses, considering that is important to also look at, see what the general consensus is, which I don't expect there to be any good responses, because it is the DVD community. They don't tend to use any of their brain cells for anything beyond doing stupid shit. So regardless, they say all the changes not happening at release are just this one. I believe I've seen some issues with the set 0.3 speed too. So they say, to give a little bit more context behind this decision, the curve window was previously linked to the delay state. We've unlinked these two things, giving more flexibility and freedom to refine how these are balanced, how it affected the other. By unlinking, a starting value had to be selected, and it was chosen as the safe option. Close side of how we play, blah blah blah. It's just a nothing burger, basically. It's just a kind of a nothing burger, to be honest. So they say it's only visual indicator that'll be happening on release. We'll be releasing the other changes like divide like curve window while zealous, but the important point there is that there's had been tunables we adjust based on feedback. Which in other words is it's just gonna be kind of the same. They like the thing is that they're very careful with how they respond and what they respond to. And you notice that because it's the DBD community, they're very dumb. So let's see. So they say people are already learning how to dodge the beam in the PTB even without the increased aura range. The reason why people are getting hit so often is because it's a new killer. Most people did not have the time to learn or pay attention to the tells, and even then some did. Please just don't focus on people talking about the streamer comment distract you from the many people talking about the real issues these changes have, including the many problems with the zealous beam turn change. They say if it helps put your mind at ease, we're very aware of discussion around zealous and be watching this closely when it goes live, especially as the wider community gets their hands on the judgments. It's a tunable value to me just as needed. Like I said, it's a nothing burger. Like every response they have has nothing to reassure you. It's all a bunch of nonsense. This person at least is seeing through the nonsense. They say the delivery was pretty flat for a joke, but it wasn't the actual reason. That much is obvious. It shouldn't have been said at all when the balancement change was being discussed. You're close, but you're not there, buddy. You're close, but you're not there. Open your fucking eyes, okay? Behavior is out here telling you to your face what they want, what they care about, what they do, what they want, and everything else. If you're still somehow not comprehending what they're trying to tell you, then that's just your own fault. That's you for you're not understanding, because they tell you directly. They're literally saying we're only concerned about the Survivor players and the Survivor streamers, judging by their actions, their balance changes that they've included publicly, their lack of data that they like releasing, because mind you, they always release data that is outdated. They always release data that is like 6-8 months ahead not ahead, my bad, behind, my mistake, behind what should have been shown. So for example, we got data for Springtrap that was released last month. We're like, nobody's talking about Springtrap, nobody cares about Springtrap, but they released that data and all of a sudden Springtrap's like the highest kill rate. You're like, but it's Springtrap, he's a dog shit tier killer, but magically the kill rate's high, right? It's manipulating the narrative within the DBD community. It is what it is. The only recent data we got was like, oh, their escape rate for this character is kind of high, and oh, Jason's doing really well. His escape rate's a little bit higher than what we expected. And it's like, yeah, sure. But somehow that equates to, oh, but Jason's broken. It's like that. You see how the line of thinking doesn't even make sense there? Because the data is there, but then people forget MMR exists. They always forget the release dates. They always forget the context. If a character just comes out, they just released, who is going to know how to counter it if the character just released? Most people probably haven't even been playing the game, let alone the PTB. So how would they be able to counter something that they just are facing for the first time? Now take that and double it, triple it, quadruple it for every match, right? Say every new player that's rolling in is coming in and they've never faced this ability before, never faced this killer before, doesn't know the sound effects, doesn't know what they mean, doesn't know what the ability does, doesn't play killer, yada yada yada. Of course they're going to lose, of course they're going to die. Lack of information will always cook you. Think about like when you're playing Dark Souls for the first time and you're fighting a boss. You're gonna die because you don't know they don't know the pattern. If you're fighting, like if you're playing Elden Ring and you go to the castle and you're fighting, I think it wasn't Radon, I forgot his freaking name already. I think it was Morgott or something like that. And he's like telling you to put your petty and not your petty, but your foolish ambitions to rest. Like that's literally what it is, right? You've never faced him, and he's gonna like do a spin kick. He's gonna delay his attack. He's gonna jump into the sky, slam down, swing his tail around all over the screen, do some swinging, throw some shit at you. And if you've never fought him before, you're gonna die, like without failure. I mean, there's probably maybe one person out there that probably has maybe an expert on Dark Souls and went against him for the first time and won immediately. for the very first time playing the game, that's probably a possibility. But the majority of us who have never either played a Souls game before or have never played Elden Ring or don't have any experience with Souls likes are going to be going into that experience brand new and probably die. So it's crazy to me that like all logic goes out the window when it becomes down to looking at the data and looking at what behavior's talking about. But that is being used as an example to show you that the DVD community is so dumb. Like they can't even fathom the idea that behavior doesn't have their best interest in mind. That they only look at them as consumers. They only look at them as little pay pigs that buy all their garbage ass fucking cosmetics. That lack creativity and lack any goddamn effort. Which I've covered that on a previous stream as well. And this person says, still feels unnecessary. People in the PTB are already learning to dodge well. The aura is enough warning and still requires you to pay attention. We should not reward not paying attention. That is also a good point, but this is behavior. Remember? They want to dumb down Survivor to the point that you can play it blindfolded at this point. That's what they want for you, because they don't see you as intelligent players. They don't see you as people that want a challenge and want to enjoy the game for what it is and understand the asymmetrical nature of it. They're not interested in creating that mother effing experience. I don't know why people still are thinking that they could be. They don't care about you if you are a veteran, if you are experienced, and that goes for both sides. I'm trying to tell everybody, like, you don't matter to them. So they say, it doesn't change that basically every feedback that was, this killer is too difficult, high skill ceiling is fine. What is the PTB even for if you guys don't listen to feedback? The fact that you guys thought to make this killer even more punishing to play is baffling and really worries me for how balance is handled with the dev team. At least somebody said it. You should be concerned. You should be worried, because this is what they're worried about. So this person says, oh, now it's about accessibility. I could already see it with a whopping 50% vision loss between all of the sound cues and other built-in warnings through the art of paying attention. But sure, let's go with that, I guess. Now, what's the point of the zealous nerf? Yep, people get it. Now, the difference is that I stopped paying attention to this killer a while back already. I already knew the second that the vote went through and they gave the character crab legs, I was, yeah. You lost me. I was like, I ain't playing that. You can keep that to yourself. I'm good. I'm good. At the end of the day, I'm good. I'm not playing the character. What is the purpose? What do I get out of that? Just get a shitty experience to play a shit killer that's gonna get nerfed in a week anyway. What is the purpose? What is the point? What is the purpose? What is the point? That is ultimately, at the end of the day, what is the point? What is the point? This person says, I don't think that the nerfs are justified in the slightest still. This is one of the hardest killers to get value out of, and her power should be lethal for that reason. She's supposed to be a high skill, high reward killer. I still don't see a reason to play this over Huntress, who can get similar results with half the effort. I'm glad somebody said it. And then somebody said or artist as well. This person says, this has been behavior's core problem for years. They release simple perks and killers early on in the game's life cycle that they have never been able to top. Why play Judgment when you could just play Huntress, who does the same thing for the fraction of the effort? Why run exhaustion perk that requires you to play this weird mind game with the game to activate when life does the same thing for the fraction of the effort? They design these things that are super cool and awesome, put them in the PTB, realize they're better than these baselines like Huntress or Lithe as examples, and nerf them into the ground because they can't be that good when we're stuck in their weird situation where only a handful of things break through, like Ghoul. So yeah, it's just how it is, man. And then this person says, are you seriously going to say it was a joke? Anyone who watches the clip can see that it wasn't. Exactly. Some people, at least I can give credit for, have their eyes open, are actually paying attention to what is being shown to us. It's not everybody, and that's why we keep making these damn videos, because I'm like, if we can try to reach more people and try to get more people to understand like what the issues are with this game, maybe we could get less people to play it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we can get less people to play their game. We can get more hands on deck to other games, other forms of content. Like, I have 2 other channels for you guys. Rivals, main channel where I'm putting up what I have, like a few projects that I'm working on, to release for you guys. And I might have to just start speedrunning some of these out because we need to start making more content for it. And put you guys on with some other games that are worth your time. And maybe even films and other stuff like that. I mean, we could gonna go crazy on that channel. But regardless, I want to know what you guys think in the comment section, of course. Consider checking out the other channels because I got them linked in the description. Consider becoming a member on YouTube or Patreon or even subbing on Twitch as well. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Alright, we're going to shout out all the members. So shout out Patreon, Crow Vader. So we have Evil Blade 17, Lord Whip with an F there, and then 6540. We have Razmakai, Cozy with Brando, Cap Courteous as well. We got Kargan Falcon, Dole Whip, Noxus, Zero Mocker, Christian, and Crow Vader. Appreciate you guys, man. And if you want your name read off at the end of every video, of course, consider becoming a member within the on this channel. You know, it could be the badge or I'm a member now tier. Either one works, and you get exclusive perks and content. So check it out, man. Appreciate you guys, man. It means a lot. We'll see you guys in the next one, man.